Mother Teresa was a Roman Catholic nun and missionary whose life became closely associated with charitable service to the poor. Over the course of the 20th century, she founded a religious congregation that expanded across continents and established institutions dedicated to caring for individuals in need. Recognized internationally for her humanitarian work, she received numerous honors, including the Nobel Peace Prize, and was later canonized as a saint by the Catholic Church. Her life and work remain subjects of both admiration and discussion, reflecting the complexity of her global influence. She was born on 26 August 1910 in Skopje, then part of the Ottoman Empire, and was baptized the following day as Agnes Gonje Boyakciu. Her family was of Albanian heritage. Her father, Nicolae Boyakciu, was involved in local business and civic affairs, while her mother, Dranofile Boyakciu, played a significant role in shaping her early religious values. After her father's death when she was still a child, her mother raised the family and emphasized charitable acts within their community. These early experiences of faith and service influenced her developing sense of purpose. During her youth, Agnes was active in her local parish and became interested in missionary work. By the age of 18, she decided to pursue religious life. In 1928, she left her home to join the Sisters of Loreto, an Irish religious institute with missions in India. She traveled first to Ireland to begin her training and learn English, the language used by the order for teaching in India. Shortly afterward, she was sent to the Indian subcontinent, arriving in 1929. She began her novitiate in Darjeeling and took her first religious vows in 1931. At that time, she chose the name Teresa, inspired by Thérèse of Lisieux. She later took her final vows in 1937, becoming known as Mother Teresa. For many years, she taught at St. Mary's High School in Calcutta, a school run by the Loreto sisters. She eventually became headmistress. During this period, she lived within the convent community and carried out her teaching responsibilities, while the city around her faced significant social and economic challenges. In 1946, while traveling by train to Darjeeling for a retreat, she experienced what she later described as a call within a call. She felt compelled to leave the convent school and dedicate herself more directly to serving the poorest residents of Calcutta. After receiving permission from her religious superiors and the Vatican, she left the Loreto order in 1948. She adopted a simple white sari with a blue border, which would later become associated with her congregation. With basic medical training received in Patna, she began working in the slums of Calcutta. Her early efforts included teaching children in informal settings and assisting those who were ill or without shelter. In 1950, she founded a new religious congregation, the Missionaries of Charity. The Vatican granted official recognition to the order that same year. The Missionaries of Charity were dedicated to serving the poorest of the poor, and members took vows of poverty, chastity, obedience, and a fourth vow to provide wholehearted free service to the most impoverished. As the congregation grew, Mother Teresa established institutions to address various needs. In 1952, she opened Nirmal Hriday, also known as the Home for the Dying, in Calcutta. The facility provided care to individuals who were seriously ill and had no access to medical support. Additional homes were created for people affected by leprosy, as well as orphanages and shelters for those experiencing homelessness. Over time, the Missionaries of Charity expanded beyond India, opening houses in other countries across Asia, Africa, Europe, and the Americas. The global expansion of the Missionaries of Charity occurred steadily throughout the 1960s and 1970s. The congregation attracted members from many nations, and new branches were formed, including contemplative and priestly branches. Mother Teresa traveled extensively to oversee the development of these communities and to encourage their mission. Her work received increasing international attention, and she became a widely recognized figure in discussions of charitable service and humanitarian aid. In 1979, she was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. The Nobel Committee recognized her work in assisting individuals facing poverty and distress. She chose not to attend the traditional ceremonial banquet associated with the award and requested that the funds be directed toward the poor. Throughout her public appearances, she emphasized the importance of compassion and personal service. In addition to the Nobel Prize, she received numerous other distinctions, including India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna, in 1980. Despite the widespread recognition, her work and methods were also subject to scrutiny. Some critics questioned aspects of medical care provided in certain Missionaries of Charity facilities and raised concerns about organizational practices and financial transparency. Others debated her public statements on issues such as abortion and contraception, which reflected her adherence to Catholic teaching. These discussions formed part of the broader public dialogue surrounding her influence. Supporters, meanwhile, highlighted the scale of the congregation's outreach and the commitment of its members to serving marginalized populations. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Mother Teresa continued to travel and oversee the activities of her congregation, even as her health declined. She experienced heart problems and was hospitalized several times. In 1990, she offered to resign as head of the Missionaries of Charity, but the congregation voted for her to continue. Eventually, in 1997, she stepped down, and Sister Nirmala was elected to succeed her. Mother Teresa died on September 5, 1997, in Calcutta. Her death prompted tributes from leaders and communities around the world. The government of India honored her with a state funeral, reflecting her long-standing association with the country and recognition of her humanitarian efforts. By the time of her death, the Missionaries of Charity had grown to include thousands of sisters and brothers operating hundreds of missions in numerous countries. Following her death, the process for her canonization in the Catholic Church began. In 2003, she was beatified by Pope John Paul II, who gave her the title Blessed Teresa of Calcutta. The beatification followed the recognition of a miracle attributed to her intercession. In 2016, Pope Francis canonized her as Saint Teresa of Calcutta after the Vatican confirmed a second miracle. The canonization ceremony in Rome was attended by pilgrims and dignitaries from many parts of the world. The Missionaries of Charity have continued their work since her passing. The congregation remains active in providing care to individuals affected by poverty, illness, and social exclusion. Its members operate hospices, schools, orphanages, and outreach programs in diverse settings. The distinctive white and blue sari continues to symbolize the congregation's identity and mission. Mother Teresa's life unfolded during a century marked by global change, including the decline of empires, the independence of nations like India, and shifting social and economic conditions. Her decision to leave a teaching career within a convent to live and work among the poor represented a significant turning point in her personal vocation. Over time, that decision led to the formation of an international religious order with a broad humanitarian presence. Her public image was shaped by both recognition and debate. Admirers viewed her as a symbol of selfless service, while critics examined the practical and ethical dimensions of her methods. The historical record reflects these varied perspectives, contributing to ongoing discussion about charitable work, religious motivation, and social responsibility. Within the Catholic Church, her canonization affirmed the view that her life demonstrated heroic virtue and dedication to faith.
In assessing her legacy, it is important to consider both the institutional structures she established and the cultural impact she achieved. The Missionaries of Charity created a network of service organizations that continue to operate in many parts of the world. At the same time, her personal example influenced public perceptions of missionary work and humanitarian engagement. Awards, biographies, and media portrayals contributed to her prominence as one of the most recognizable religious figures of the 20th century. Mother Teresa's journey from Skopje to India and eventually to global recognition illustrates the development of a life centered on religious conviction and charitable action. Her early experiences in a devout family, her education and training within a missionary order, and her later founding of a new congregation formed the foundation of her work. Over decades, that work expanded beyond its original